What is happening to the capitalist capital of the world? Tomorrow, New York, America's biggest city, is going to vote for its new mayor. It's almost certain to be 34-year-old Muslim socialist Zohran Mamdani. And like a true socialist, Mamdani is promising lots of free stuff, even government-owned grocery stores.
I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich.
Now, this guy's born in Uganda and is still way ahead in the polls, even though he's flirted with radical Islamists, demanded boycotts of Israel, once called police racist who should be defunded. He's reversed himself on that last one, but just last year he still linked the New York Police Department with the Israel Defense Forces as both agents of oppression.
We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
US President Donald Trump is dead against Mamdani, but that's done no good either.
Zohran Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the
communist, not socialist, communist. He's far worse than a socialist.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better-looking person than him, right?
Now, part of Mamdani's success is that he's run against no-hopers. I mean, current Mayor Eric Adams faces allegations of bribery and corruption, had to drop out. Democrat Andrew Cuomo had to quit as mayor himself after allegations of sexual harassment, which he denies. And Curtis Silva is founder of the vigilante group Guardian Angels. Well, there's a no-chance hothead who's just splitting the vote on the right. Joining me is Sean Spicer, Donald Trump's first White House spokesman. Sean Spicer, always great to see you. What does it say about America today that New York seems about to elect a socialist, or as Donald Trump says, a communist?
Oh, it's worse than that, Andrew, unfortunately. This is a guy who has sympathized with terrorists, who hangs around with communists, whose policies are off the chart to the far left, in what is supposed to be that shining beacon of freedom and capitalism that New York has always been associated with. It's a scary move. But the thing that's sad to me is the choice that New Yorkers have. So right now, Zohran Mamdani, the socialist/communist, terrorist sympathizing nutjob, looks like he is on his way to getting reelected. But if Andrew Cuomo were to pull off a miracle, you're basically settling for a scandal-plagued former governor that resigned from office as your consolation prize.
I don't get how America's biggest city throws up candidates who are Fruit Loops, disgraced, accused of all sorts of things. I mean, where are the normal people?
In a city that big, with that many successful people, with that many egos, you've got this 32-year-old inexperienced candidate that ousted really experienced folks. And I will give it to him. He did run a good campaign. He ran an aggressive social media campaign. New York's a Democratic-leaning state, but the city in particular, the boroughs, are very, very left-leaning. I find it fascinating that in a city this big, with so many influential people, so many talented people, so many people full of ego and success, that this was the best option that they gave the Democratic Party, right? It actually is just a horrible, horrible indictment on the state of the Democratic Party, especially in New York City.
Well, I wonder whether it reflects a wider problem. I mean, a drift to the left in America, particularly among the young, a radicalization of the Democrat Party, which seems to have been knocked off its axis by the success of Trump, and is, you know, you've got a whole wing there going on the Bernie Sanders left and the hard left. Is there an ideological drift in America?
There is. There's this fantasy that somehow these far left socialist communist policies are the panacea for so many things that are wrong. The one thing that I think is unique about this election tomorrow, Andrew, this is the first time we're going to have like an executive. When Zohran Mamdani wins the mayoral race in New York City, he will be in charge. He can try to do, I think he will be very unsuccessful, but he will nonetheless try to implement the policies that he's been talking about. And why I think that's not a bad thing is that I think for all of these young Americans in particular that have been wooed into believing that this is the solution, I think finally they're going to see in practice practice that these are nut job kind of policy prescriptions that they're being told are the remedy for so many problems that we face.
Well, one would hope that lesson is learned. I mean, I can't wait to see government-run grocery stores. Let's see how that works out.
Government-run grocery, free internet, free housing, free education, free childcare. I mean, and by the way, I hate that phrase. There is no such thing as free. These guys love to talk about it. It's like, right, it's not free, and they sell people on stuff. And this is why it's nuts. It can't work. It won't work. There's a reason that it's not free, because it's not. Somebody's got to pick up the tab, and all these people that are going to get stuck with it are going to say, too bad, we're out of here, we're moving to Florida.
What a mess. Sean Spicer, I mentioned last night that Donald Trump was threatening to send the army into Nigeria to stop the massacre of Christians there by Islamist terrorists if the Nigerian government didn't get off its backside and act. That's caused outrage from that government, and it's actually now triggered Nigeria's northern neighbour, Chad, to close the border with Nigeria to stop Islamists fleeing and hiding in their country. But is it really possible the president would send US troops to invade Nigeria?
Sure, it's possible. And frankly, I think what's happening to Christians in Nigeria, the one thing I'll say by him calling this out was it finally drew the needed attention to what's going on there in Nigeria. I don't think it's gotten the attention it deserves, not just here in America, but probably worldwide. So if anything, the president called some much needed attention to a huge issue that's happening there. And look, obviously, I'm sure that from a Christian standpoint, they would appreciate any support they can get for their own safety. So there's a difference between going in and invading a country and providing a peacekeeping, troops to take care of it and to make sure that human beings are protected. Now, with Donald Trump, sometimes, there's always a spectrum of him maybe throwing something out there and then hoping he can negotiate from there as a first salvo. So I don't know what the full plan is here, but I will say that I appreciate the fact that he's calling attention to this very egregious issue.
Yes, and obviously the religious right is very pleased with this, but I'm not sure this is a threat that will be followed through on, and that's always dangerous if you get a reputation for unreliability, not following through. But we shall see what happens. You're right, it's a genuine issue, and good on Trump for raising it. Sean Spicer, thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Andrew. Always a pleasure to see you.
The latest polls just out say that socialist Zohran Mamdani is on average about 15 points ahead of Andrew Cuomo. So, wow.